The question becomes, how did that happen? The question becomes, how did that happen? We know why Darryl won that race. We know Darryl was the right guy. When I first met Darryl, I mean, he just like grows all over you. So you know that. I mean, just grows all over. I mean, he's the right guy. Not because he's a great farmer, not because he's just a nice guy, but the fact that you can tell when you, one of the things that God has done in my life, and I'm not trying to boast about this, but he's endowed me with a small ability is to read a person when you look into their eyes. You can see into a person's heart when you look into somebody's eye. You can see if there's somebody you can trust. You can see if there's somebody that's going to say something today and then act like a politician and change it tomorrow. You can tell if they are serious about what they tell you. When I looked in Darryl's eyes, it was very simple what he said to me. All I want to do is the right thing. That's all I want to do. And he has come into our conference and has been a breath of fresh air. You should be so proud of Darryl. I can't tell you how excited we are about having him. And you know, and so the question becomes, beyond Darryl, what was the message? Well, the message is very simple. The message is very simple. One we've been carrying for so long, and Stu knows about it, Tom knows about it, is that for some reason, Chuck, we allowed somebody to make us believe that there was a difference between me and Marty Connor. Or there was a difference between Marty Connor and David Valesky. Or a difference between Stu Brody and Bill Stokowski. What I try to explain to people, Kathy, is that this is just one New York. Simple. If I live in Buffalo, if I live in Brooklyn, I want the same thing that you want. Everywhere I've been throughout the state of New York, and Chuck, I haven't been to all 62 counties twice, like you have. I'm up to 50, I'm up to 51. 3 times, 4 times, I'm up to 51, but I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, but I will tell you, everywhere I go, the needs are the same. I told Darryl the other day, I said, you know what? If I live in Oswego, I still want my child to be educated. I still want to know that I have a job every morning when I wake up. I still want to make sure that my children can live in this state after they play by the rules and do all that they're supposed to do. I have that personal for me. My son right now is in Calgary, Canada. He was home just last week. He went to school, played by the rules, did everything he was supposed to do, but he said, Daddy, I can't afford to stay here, and Daddy couldn't afford to pay the property taxes to buy a house for him because they're too expensive. So he's now in Calgary, and he says to me, Daddy, I said, how's it treating you? He says, I'm doing fine. He said, I got me a nice condo, I'm working, you know, everything is fine, and I'm trying to get him to come back home. But one thing I said to him, I told him, my daughter who was 14, I said, you are gonna stay home. You are gonna stay in New York. And you know why? Because your daddy's going to make sure that our property taxes are decent, that you can get a decent education, that you can get a job, and that you will be happy that this is the Empire State that we all want to be. It's one New York. It's just one New York. Everywhere you go. We are on that new frontier path. There's no question about it. Yesterday we celebrated, we talked about Martin Luther King, who was killed 40 years ago at the Lorraine Motel. And we talked about the dreams that Martin had. But most people will tell you that dreams are free. I tell people that dreams cost Martin his life. But the bottom line, with all the dreams that he had, it was very simple. It was very simple, that we would understand that we are just one. There's no difference between us. I eat just like you. I have to sleep just like you. I have to clothe myself, I have to work myself. I mean, I rode a bicycle to deliver groceries when I was growing up, got laughed at in my neighborhood. It happens. But the bottom line is, this is one of the greatest states in this country. In this country. And the people that are in this room are part of a fabric that is the same across this state. There is no, don't let anybody tell you that this is an upstate and a downstate issue, or it's a Long Island, it's a New York City issue. That's just not true. If we don't spend money on education, your children, just like my children, won't be ready to take our place. We're not going to be here forever, June. There's a cycle of life that we all go through. It's natural. We can't stop it. And all that we hope and pray is that our children will be able to take our place when we move on. Now, some of us might move to Florida, but a lot of us are going to stay here. So all we want to do is make sure that happens. So here's what we're doing in this one New York. And I want you to understand that's all this is. One New York. That's what we are. We want our children educated. We want to make sure we have property taxes that you can maintain your home, or even pass it on to your children, or refinance it and send your kids to school. We want to make sure that you will make sure that jobs will stay in your neighborhood. We are going to create jobs. We are not going to do what was done in the past. And this is a direct shot at the Republican majority. There is no reason why we should be giving $200 and $300 and $400 million to a company that says they're going to create 20 or 50 or 100 jobs and they create 0. That is bad common